A lot of paranormal stuff is pretty freaky as it is. There are a lot of stories out there about paranormal activities that people can't explain. Paranormal stuff can be anything from ghosts, hearing noises from things that aren't there, to scary shadows and objects moving on their own when they shouldn't, and many other kinds of strange, unexplained phenomena. And while most of these things can be debunked, there are some things that are completely unexplainable. Join us as we take a look at 5 paranormal videos we dare you to watch. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. Levitating Girl in Russian Forest. Back in 2010, there was some shocking amateur footage that was circulating around the internet about some weird paranormal activity of a girl who seems to be floating in mid-air. The footage shows a guy walking his dog as they're in the forest. The dog then runs away, seemingly attracted by some other activity that's going on there in the forest. The guy turns his camera to follow his dog, and suddenly, he sees something very unusual. In the clearing where his dog is, there's a girl wearing a red coat who seems to be floating in mid-air. The bizarre thing is that her mother's standing there holding her hand like nothing's happening. Perhaps realizing that someone's watching them, the girl is then seen back on the ground standing next to her mother as they walk away out of the camera frame. The man who recorded the video says he rented a camera and went out with his dog on a walk and couldn't explain what was going on. The 44-second video initially shows him playing with his dog, whose name is Tarzan. It was when the dog barked that the people realized that they weren't alone and the girl was quickly back down on the ground. After this, they quickly left the field. Could this girl have learned some sort of magic levitation? The strange thing about this video is that if it is set up, then it's a pretty good staged hoax. When looking at the video, it's hard to tell if there's an actual wire holding the girl. If this is indeed an actual encounter of the paranormal, then it is quite incredible. There are a lot of different explanations that people have tried to come up with. One of them is that gypsies who are known to dabble with such forces would be able to perform this feat. Another explanation is that people think that nearby demonic presence may have lifted her off the ground. However, if that were true, her mother would probably be a lot more shocked than she appears in the video. The video came out in 2011, so if it was some trick of video editing software, then it was made when video software wasn't as advanced as it is today. Regardless of the explanation, the video is pretty bizarre. Number 4. Japanese Ghost Girl in Mirror. Mirrors can play all kinds of tricks when you're looking at them. Some people think that mirrors are a doorway into another world. Some video footage of a little Japanese girl looking at herself in the mirror casting a strange reflection is something that went viral and is unexplained. The reflection in the mirror of the little girl seems to be some kind of spirit, but whether it's a good or a bad one is another story altogether. In the video, it's difficult to understand what's being said. Unless you know the Japanese language, that is. However, there is some narration in the video, and the man is telling the girl when she should look in the mirror. After this, the girl's ghostly reflection appears. Some people who have seen the video say that it's nothing more than some kind of trick mirror being used. But while this is certainly possible, no one knows for sure exactly what her reflection is doing. There are a lot of different explanations for what could be seen in this video. Some people claim it's some sort of warning, or perhaps maybe the child spirit was captured in some sort of space-time trying to escape the mirror. And while many people try to debunk the video, there are those who actually believe that the video is real, and there is no trickery involved. The video has actually been online for quite some time, and the mirror itself actually has some history behind it. The little Japanese girl's mother said that they got the mirror from an acquaintance a very long time ago, and that the mirror itself is very old. Some paranormal stories tell about ghosts that are known to attach themselves to a certain object before they pass into the next realm. So could it be possible that there's a spirit trapped inside of this mirror? If there is a ghost trapped inside of this mirror, it obviously has some unfinished business to take care of. When taking a look at the face that's inside of the mirror, it appears to be deformed, and although it's hard to see the eyes, they seem to be black in color. Of course, when you look at the quality of the clip, it would be tough to notice that there was any use of some kind of rendering software. Perhaps whatever it was that was on the other side of this mirror was trying to get into our world. Number 3. Bigfoot sighting in American Fork Canyon. Utah is a really beautiful place that has some really big mountains. In fact, the Rocky Mountains are some of the tallest and biggest mountains in that area. And if you were a Bigfoot, this would be the mountain range that you would want to hide in. This is probably why there are so many Bigfoot sightings in these areas where the Rocky Mountains stretch through several states. A man who's in American Fork Canyon near the Table Creek Reservoir thought he saw something, but it was far away. At first, he thought that it might be some kind of bear, moose, or elk, since there's quite a few of these animals in these mountains. American Fork Canyon is very thick and very forested with a lot of trees. The man says he saw the creature for only a second before it disappeared behind some of the trees. He ended up having to walk through some snow to get to where he was before when he started recording. After seeing some movement in the trees, that's when he began to move the camera to capture whatever it was that he was seeing. Apparently, the man was already scared, but the creature stepped out into the clearing. By then, the man was absolutely terrified and only saw the creature for a second before he started to run. There are a lot of stories about Bigfoot in these mountains. So knowing that it wasn't a bear or a moose or some elk that he was seeing like he thought before, he thought for a minute that it might be the actual legendary Bigfoot or Sasquatch. The man claims he's never seen a Bigfoot before and he didn't even think that they were real. Unfortunately, because the man was so afraid of the creature, the recording only consists of 27 seconds of really shaky footage. The footage does show what appears to be a human-like silhouette that's moving through the snowy ground. Has someone actually caught authentic footage of the legendary Bigfoot? We'll let you decide. Number 2. Alien Humanoid, Mexico. With so many alien sightings, aliens have gotta be real, right? A video surfaced online of a pink-colored alien humanoid-type creature that appears on a rooftop in Mexico. It's not known why some alien would want to be climbing around on a rooftop in Mexico, but there it is. A lot of people who follow UFO sightings, such as Scott C. Waring, are convinced that this is the real deal. Well, actually, come to think of it, when does Scott think it's not the real deal? Anyway, some people who have seen the video think that this is something called Slender Man, who has finally been captured on video because it has some of the same dimensions as the legendary creature. If you're not sure who the Slender Man is, the creature originates from a supernatural character that was originally created from an internet meme, which was in turn created by a guy named Eric Knudsen way back in 2009. The character is often depicted as a tall, unnatural-looking creature with a featureless face that's wearing a dark suit, who lures children and some adults into the dark wilderness with him. The humanoid alien in the video seems to hear a sudden screeching noise coming from behind it, and then it quickly runs away. The owners of the home, who wish to remain anonymous of course, are the ones who recorded this freaky footage. It was Brazil Weird News who first picked up the story and mentioned that the location was somewhere in the outskirts of Nuevo Laredo City. It turns out that the owners of the ranch-styled home kept hearing unusual sounds coming from outside and decided to investigate. Of course, when you investigate, you grab your camera and begin recording immediately. What the camera picked up was a mysteriously freaky-looking creature. While the video isn't perfectly clear, and neither are any of these types of videos, it's kinda good enough to make out some of the details. Of course, there are a lot of people that believe this to be some CGI faked video or just another hoax. There are some people who believe it's actually real, however. Maybe this is actual evidence of some extraterrestrial climbing around on a rooftop caught red-handed by a smartphone. Interestingly enough, there's been a lot of UFO and alien activity in Mexico in the past few years. Maybe aliens have found that this is a good place for them to study humans. At this point, it's anyone's guess. Number 1. Ghost in the School, Ireland. Some mysterious video was filmed at a school in Ireland at Deer Park, CBS after motion-activated cameras picked up some activity. The CCTV cameras show a door opening at the end of the hallway and staying open for several seconds before violently slamming shut. After a few moments, a set of lockers that are standing next to a window in a corner appear to move back and forth. A few minutes later, one of the locker doors flies open and the contents of the lockers come shooting out. What's interesting about this footage is that it's taken inside of a school that has a pretty good security system that would actually alert authorities if there was some kind of intruder in the building. Since the school was built clear back in 1828, there's a good possibility that there could be some ghost haunting the halls. The interesting thing is that people have always been hearing noises and sounds that are strange inside of the building, but this time, it seems that CCTV cameras have actually caught something. Many people who have seen the video are skeptical, of course. However, if it's a prank, it's a very well designed one. A lot of strange things have been happening in the school, such as finding papers on the floor and not knowing where they came from, and animals not wanting to go down the hallway where these strange events occurred. Apparently, the school posted this video on their Facebook page trying to find out if it was a prank or not. However, the school has motion sensor detectors that would have been able to detect any people moving around in the area. The night this happened, those sensors picked up nothing. Hope you enjoyed the video, Top 5ers. If you haven't already, check out our other channel, Americano, to enjoy even more amazing list videos. There'll be a link in the description, so check it out, as well as our other cool stuff